We still can. We have time. All right. We're going to take some questions, a couple of them. Any questions? You pick? I pick? Okay, I'm picking you.
Yes, he said, can I explain my bill that with Patrick Kennedy? It was a House resolution, and what that does, there's a paper, the Beacon said that we had a health care bill, that we're creating some health care bill and going to have raised taxes. That's absolutely not true. What it does is we talk about, with the American Medical Association and residency programs for physicians, we talked about in just an encouraging bill, it was, a resolution is what it was, to talk about in medical school, because the residency programs want this, to talk about drug addiction, alcoholism, and mental illness more in a residency program. That's all it was. That's all it was. It costs no money. They don't have to do it. It's just considered an idea that they should look at. The American Medical Association and the residency programs want it, though. They want to start instituting that in their curriculum. And there's many rehabilitation centers around the country that they pay out of their own pocket to have them come there for a week and do it. When I was at Betty Ford, we had a group that came in like that. Betty Ford paid for it, and the residents came in. It's a great program. It helps. And they really benefited from it. But I appreciate you asking that. Yes,
sir. As far as constitutional backbone, I just want to say I appreciate it. Especially, I was wondering, can you answer for a couple things? So I did vote for you 2 times. I would like an answer on the bailout, the give back, and earmarks that are in line with providing money for Planned Parenthood. I guess the overall question, can you answer for them, and how can you review them? How can you make me vote for them?
Okay, sure. Well, I never voted for an earmark for Planned Parenthood. I've never voted for an earmark for Planned Parenthood. Never have. On the bailout, I did vote for that. It was a tough vote. I supported it. I heard a lot from companies here. I feel we're at a precipice. It was something that there was no alternative on the table. I talked to our delegation, along with Senator Coburn, before I voted on it. He supported as well with me. And it was at that time, all we had to look at. We were facing high unemployment rates, possibly as high as 30%. You're hearing this information from a Federal Reserve chairman, a Treasury secretary, many people that at the time you think would know. Could we have done a better job? Maybe so, but that was all that was presented at the time.
Your constituents were against it. We were, I don't know.
And I appreciate that.
The bailout started the steamroller effect, or the cascading effect of what is now $600,000 to me, my child, and my other child. With my house, I have almost $2 million right now. Who voted for that? Yes, folks.
Most of that's been paid back.
You gave it to the banks that Jefferson said that if you give your money to the central banking system, that this, or if you support a central banking system, this nation will collapse. What's happening? That's right.
One more. Yes, ma'am.
If the bailout was the only option on the table, could you kind of give us some background of how it got that bad? If Congress is supposed to oversee these different financial organizations, how did it get that bad?
Well, a lot of it had to do with an instrument, a collateral debt. She asked, how did it get that bad? How did it get that bad here in our economy that this was even looked at, considered, and voted on? There was an instrument that was created called a collateral debt obligation. It was a mortgage-backed securities and all these financial instruments, derivatives, very complicated, hard to understand. They were built on these tranches of a mortgage that was a good mortgage, had some good ones in it and some bad ones in it, and they were always considered solid loans. And what they did is they started creating more of them to sell, because it used to be kind of a small kind of part of the industry, but it grew a lot. So they needed more customers to get into it, and what they did is they started getting more money out there to loan to people with these no document loans. They weren't really checking credit, and they were really trying to just get money out there so they could get these things together and sell them. I started selling them in other countries. A lot of other countries would buy them. A lot of people would buy them. And what happened was they started seeing that these teaser rates they gave and started going up. And when they did, all these things started to collapse. And usually a few in these tranches would collapse. It's not so bad, but high rates were. And when that happened, it was trillions of dollars that went bad. And it reverberated through the entire financial industry as well as worldwide. It's still tough right now. They're even talking about another problem in our economy coming up in regards to this deal. That's why what caused it was a lot of the rating agencies. The rating agencies like Moody's and Standards & Poor's will look at these, and they're supposed to rate them. Now, they're just government bureaucrats, really, that are doing this kind of stuff. They got cozy with the industry. These were very complex financial instruments, and they didn't really understand them, and only the Wall Street guys that created them understood them. And they would rate them as AAA rated, which is the top rating, which they weren't. And that's why people bought them. And it was just a house of cards. And so really the rating agencies are to blame too. The SEC as well for not seeing this sooner. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac as well. There was not much oversight on that. But as you see, government here, what we're doing is really passed a financial bill in Congress before I left. A wide sweeping financial regulatory legislation that's going to solve all this. It's not. What it's doing is those big banks that cause the problems with these complicated financial instruments, it's going to hurt some community banks here in Oklahoma that were giving money during the tough times to people on Main Street that they should have. But they're the ones that are going to be affected by it. And it's going all the way to the ATM machines even. I mean, people are, the fees and all that are being regulated. So again, they're giving more power to the people that cause the problems. These unregulated instruments, these financial instruments do need to be looked at though, because they're complicated and people are making tons of money on it, but it hurt us very badly. Thank you.
Congressman, do you think it would be fair to say that it is so complicated that not one of us really could have a grasp on it in its entirety?
It's hard to understand. It is. I think she was talking about right. It's gone. Thank you. Thank you.